Hello and welcome to this first public testnet of IPOR Protocol. My name is Łukasz and I'm the head of product at IPOR Labs. In this video, you'll be able to get a sneak peek of how the protocol will be working when we launch it on the mainnet. Please keep in mind that this web application is still work in progress and you should not be alarmed if you see slight changes and improvements. If you find any issues with how the application works, you can report them via Discord in the channel testnet. It will help us to make IPOR even better. One more disclaimer, in this video we'll focus on how to use web application, not what it can be used for. If you want to learn about that, head to our Medium and Gitbook. Links are in the description of this video. Now, without further ado, let's get going with the protocol. First, make sure you have MetaMask installed in your browser. If you don't, you can find a link to the instructions in the video's description. Since I have MetaMask installed, we can open rinkeby.ipor.io. As you see, we're using Rinkeby testnet for this release. It means that you will need some testnet ETH. Best if you have some already. If not, click on the faucet link in the left menu to find a link to Rinkeby faucet. After you get some ETH, you can return to the faucet on ipor.io and request some testnet stable to play around with. Click the button, sign with your MetaMask, and you will receive 50,000 of each of our supported stables directly to your MetaMask. If you need more, every 24 hours you can claim additional 10,000. It will take a couple of seconds for the transaction to clear and you should be good to go. As you can see, there are only two options available, except for the faucet. And more functionalities will be added as we go, but first, let's start with the core. Let's look at providing liquidity. The whole IPOR web application uses the context of a stable coin you're interested in. So make yourself comfortable with switching the stablecoin context first. It's as easy as clicking the button. Once you have selected the stable, you can preview the pool's performance and add liquidity. Click on the deposit button, type the amount you want to deposit to the liquidity pool, and approve the transaction. After successful approval, you can transfer the funds. Your contribution will appear at the bottom. When you decide to withdraw funds, click Close. Decide how much you want to remove and click the button. As a liquidity provider, you will enjoy the pool's profits from underwriting derivatives, charge fees, and interest generated by the stablecoin delegation to money markets. To learn more, I encourage you to check our Gitbook for a detailed description of how the system works. You can find the link in the description of the video. Time for the main course, interest rate swaps. Again, we start by selecting the context of the stablecoin you would like to trade, from USDC to USDT to DAI. As you can see, they vary in terms of interest rate and volatility. Different behavior of those stables will mean that interest rate swaps for each stable will be priced slightly differently to account for these differences. After we settle on the stable we want to use, we can click on the button Open and configure the swap. I know it may look complex, but rest assured, it will seem very simple in no time. We can switch between simple and advanced modes, but we will stick with the advanced interface in this presentation. Let me explain some of the core elements of the interface. Notional. This is the amount used to calculate the interest. If you're trying to hedge a large borrow or a loan, this could be helpful to see the entire value of position you want to hedge. Collateral is the amount you will need to transfer to collateralize the swap. If your derivative loses, funds will be deducted from the deposit. If your swap is profitable, your funds will be added to your deposited collateral. Leverage is the ratio between collateral and notional. The higher the leverage, the more notional your collateral can underwrite. We allow up to 1,000 times leverage, or 0.1% collateralization. All those three elements are connected, and adjusting one will affect others. At the bottom of the panel, you can find total. It includes all the fees and deposits transferred when you open the swap. You can adjust this field to see how it will affect your notional and deposit. The next crucial element is setting the direction of your swap. When you select Pay Fixed and Receive Floating, you bet that the interest rates will go up, or in other words, you're long interest rates. When you choose Receive Fixed and Pay Floating, you expect the rates to go down, or say you're short interest rates. Note, the spread added to the current IPOR rate is dynamically calculated based on the market conditions. Current IPOR and spread will determine your fixed rate. The floating rate is determined by IPOR. You can also set slippage you're willing to accept. The slippage is specified in basis points or increments of 100%. Because your swap will be executed against on-chain published IPOR value, which might change before your transaction is completed, it makes sense to give slippage some thought. Of course, the rate might change in your favor, in which case the slippage you have set will not affect your swap. Feel free to explore Tooltips. They contain some tips on the elements of the interface. Before opening the first derivative, you will have to go through the approval process to transfer your ERC20 tokens. After your approval, you can now execute the transaction for swap opening. You will see your open positions underneath the charts. They will track P&L in real time so you can see how they're doing. Don't be surprised to see that in the beginning you will be in red. This is due to the spread, as you will start slightly above or below the current IPOR rate depending on the direction of your derivative. To close, simply click on the button to close, and you will see the summary of the swap liquidation status. Notice that it mentions the liquidation deposit charged when you open the swap. When the derivative is closed, the deposit is reimbursed. And that's it. If you want to dig deeper, I encourage you to visit our Gitbook for a detailed explanation. If you would like to share your feedback, visit our Discord. Both links are in the description. Thank you for checking out the IPOR Protocol testnet.